Hey guys, Reid here again from the Bechtel Summit, hanging out with Simmons, gear guy extraordinaire. We had a question earlier about footwear. It was actually about socks, but that's really only half the equation, right, Drew? The other part being the actual shoe that foot and sock are going in. And there are a lot of differences in footwear depending on the use you're going after.
I think it's almost as many different designs for as many different uses as we can think of. But what we're talking about right here are sort of some of the basic categories in hiking boots. You might have a light hiker, a traditional hiking boot, and what's really called a mountaineering boot. And, you know, they all have a pretty similar look. They have a decent sized cuff, they have a pretty rugged tread, but the construction of each shoe is quite a bit different as we were talking about on camera. You know, the light hiker, the hiking boot, and the mountaineering boot are really based on different ways that you connect with the ground. Light hikers for people who are they're not wearing a heavy backpack, they're taking longer steps, and as a result you need to have a much more flexible shoe, something that can bend, something that has excellent breathability in all the key areas. Yes, you want to have some braking here, but you don't want too big of treads on those light hikers. You want to be moving forward as well as being able to stop from moving backward. Now, in a hiking boot, you are carrying a heavy pack, and yes, you do need some more reinforcement in the cuff area, but what you really need is to respond to the fact that you're taking shorter steps. And the way that this compensates for that is, as you can see, the boot comes off the ground a little bit there, and that's actually called a rocker. You can see that in a number of things, from skis to kayaks and canoes. That front to back rolling is called a rocker. And what this does is, if you're taking a short step, it helps you have a more natural walking motion down the trail.
Sure.
As you can see on the sole of it, it has this big heel point, giving you much better braking because you are carrying a heavy load on your back and might need to stop not only your own body weight, but an extra 50 or 60 pounds as well.
Yeah. And you were showing me earlier on the mountaineer boot that this just isn't designed here with these colors. This has to do with different material and different resistance that you need because of this particular activity.
Right. I mean, this is a mountain climbing boot. I mean, you're not just walking on a trail with this boot. You're climbing a mountain, potentially standing on ledges that are a couple centimeters wide. What you see here, these different colors this is a microporous rubber that you stick your fingernail in there. This red color is extremely stiff, yellow a little bit less stiff, and the gray a little bit less stiff. What this does is it keeps the front of that toe, I mean, just to twist that back and forth is almost impossible. That's key. If you are up on a ledge, you do not want your foot slipping off and falling down, which is why you wouldn't climb a mountain with this, and you probably wouldn't hike down a trail with this, but you have the combination. You're making sure you have the right shoe for the job.
Yeah. So this would be really important information for scouts and scouters that are going to come to the Bechtel Summit. They're just going to be hiking around at the Jamboree. This might be a little overkill, but if we're going to do a 50-miler through the New River Gorge with a decent pack on our back, then maybe we want to be looking at this and not so much the lighter version.
I think that's exactly right.
Thanks for the info.
My pleasure.